What is up? It's 12:27, so technically today uh, is one of my friend's weddings. We grow older, um, but I'm looking forward to it. Uh, Aside from that, the manga that I want to talk about, honestly, it doesn't. I don't. What's that called? None of this is scripted, so I may be rambling as always. Uh, but I'm not sure if this is a manga that I wanted to be the first manga that I would be. I don't know if you would call it reviewing or just talking about uh, here or whatever. But it is one of the more recent mangas that I've just read, and it's fresh off my mind. So I just want to talk about it. Um, and I mean, just for some insight, I on this website that I keep for tracking the amount of manga I read, and so that I'm like updated on all the mangas I read. I've read like 937 according to this. Uh, there's a bunch of different other websites that I also kind of use, and it's not uh, connected well. So there's probably more than 937 that I've read. Um, but this is all to say that uh, if you are, I don't really like saying it, but if you're like a normal person, like an average person who've read like maybe 5 to 10 mangas, and most of them are like shonen or whatnot. I mean, like action, uh, stuff like that, slice of life. Then you can get off. You can like skip this video. Not like anyone's watching it, but you can skip this video. It's probably not a manga that you would want to be reading. Um, Now, for everybody else who had like, I mean, you know, it is how it is. But for everybody else, this manga is called uh, T.S. Reincarnated Beauty. Netorareiko wants to be NTR'd. And as you can tell by the title, it's a person who wants to become to be NTR'd. Like freaking, they want. What is this the correct verbiage? Like they want to be. No, they cucked isn't the right word. I mean, I guess it is, but they want their boyfriend to be cucked, uh, to be so they want to be cheating. Um, so, so I have a midnight brain. I'm not thinking very properly right now. Um, so I mean there's 3 chapters translated and like four like for like the raws, um, and I mean there's not much out right now, but I mean it's definitely we've got we've got we've got everything nowadays, don't we? Uh, um, Sorry, I don't really think about what to talk about this. So I mean I guess spoilers ahead for anybody who cares about uh, watching it. But real quick, I mean I guess brief summary is that it's about this. So it starts out as this guy who has been uh, netoraring netorare. I don't I don't know the conjugation, but he netoraz netorare netorare. Holy moly, he netorares a bunch of couples, and he like gets off on seeing the guy, uh, the guy's like despair essentially, um, and what he actually wants is he wishes that he was a girl so that his boyfriend or her boyfriend could can be cooked essentially, um, and then he can see like the reaction of it, right? um, and crazy he gets hit by a truck, and then he gets isekai into like a parallel world. I guess it's not parallel. I don't know if you can hear the fan from my computer, but it's getting hot in here. But it's not a parallel. Well, it's like a different world. It's a pretty brief. Uh, it's pretty brief in the fact that they mention it, but they say they mention that that world that he gets reincarnated in doesn't have COVID, doesn't have like some other things. So there was no lockdown or pandemic, stuff like that. So I mean, it's not like he reincarnated into uh, modern day like Earth, uh, our Earth, I should say. It was just like a different Earth. I don't know if that will actually play anything into the story or not. Um, but that's besides the point. I spent too long talking about that. Um, but he gets reincarnated into a girl, and so how's his chance, right? He freaking spends his childhood. I guess I should be saying she spends her childhood, um, basically like becoming a heroine. I can't pronounce things. Heroine, heroine, heroine. Uh, MC, female MC. Uh, that will be Neto Rared, Netoraretai. Um, Sorry, I cannot pronounce this. But it's only three mangas. There's only three translated chapters out right now. And honestly, I mean, for me, I've read a lot of manga. I think it's interesting concept because I mean, all the stuff we're getting right now is like fantasy isekai. Everybody like I have I have the like worst job, which is like a blacksmith, but then they make it like the best job. There's like five of those mangas, and then there's like a bunch of other ones. I could go on and on, but this one is like at least new for me. I haven't read any ones where a person has become isekai and they want to be cucked or they want their boyfriend to be cucked. Whoever, whoever is doing the cucking and the whatever, essentially. Um, but in this story, like she is extremely manipulative and planning. It's a very thoughtful person, and it's kind of crazy, like how, I mean, how much she is thinking about the future, right? Um, so she targets this guy. I forget his name's like Tachibana Yuki, childhood friend, right? And she's like, yeah, freaking, what, what is like the peak? Like this guy wants to, this girl, guy, I say guy for everybody, but this dude wants to like make the like peak, absolute peak, uh, like Netorare situation, essentially, right? And he's like, what's one of the like best situations, is with a childhood friend. And so he or she makes a childhood friend named Tachibana Yuki, and freaking is like this guy is really like really kind, really like all the like all the main characteristics of the perfect person to be cooked, essentially. Uh, and they grow up, and then they're like becoming friends, and then while this is happening, uh, the main character, Netorare Reiko, or Netora Reiko, sorry, mispronunciation, Netora Reiko, and I guess you could like Netora Re, right, from the first part and the second part of the name, so Netorare Ko, so like the, they got names. Anyways, while they're growing up, they freaking, sorry, while they're growing up, they're freaking, she is like planning out everything, like how this is gonna go down. So the guy uh, doesn't have a lot of friends, and she essentially is like, "Yo, check this out," and then she tells this other guy, this like other popular guy that's like really athletic, to be like, "Yo, check this out," and it's like their interest, so that she can get them to share interest and then become friends, which they become friends, um, and she's like, all right, basically candidate one is uh like childhood friend, like athletic friend, is the first candidate who will cuck the childhood friend. Uh, I just say cuck because that's easier, I guess. Um, is YouTube gonna censor this? Oh well. Um, anyways, uh, so that's candidate one, and then they're both catching feels for this person, and then candidate two is this girl who is like a bookworm, um, who also is isolated and does not have like friends. Not necessarily bullied, but also doesn't have friends or was not able to make friends that well during like school growing up. Kind of like me. Anyways, so that happens. Well, that happens. She basically plans the whole thing. Like they like graduate, go into like new school or whatever, and they're like, all right, let's check out clubs to join, and then they're like, uh, go to different bunch of clubs, and then they land on the, is it literature club? I believe it's a literature club. I'm already forgetting, um, but it's a literature club, and they're like, okay, yeah, let's join or whatever, and they like create a situation where it's like, you know, the uh, I guess I'll call her Reiko or Reiko. She, um, sorry, I can't think right now. She is like getting all feelsy with the other girl. I forgot what her name is. Um, but she like gets up and personal, and she's like, yeah, this is normal or whatever. Basically, like try and like make her be like, okay, yeah, that's fine or whatever, and manipulate them into thinking that, I mean, this is normal, like buddy and whatnot. And I mean, from an outside point of view, like if like if me and my friends were just like, you know, like, yo, what's up, that kind of stuff, um, it's like, you know, it's just dudes chilling, just some girls chilling, um, and that's what the childhood friend thinks, and that's what the bookworm girl also kind of thinks, but she also like, I don't know how I don't know how Reiko figures out that. I don't remember how Reiko figures out she, uh, the bookworm girl likes girls. Um, but she's like, okay, this is normal, whatever. But she also still is like in the process of developing feelings because this is like brand new person you just met, you know. But yeah, she's like freaking candidate two secured. She does not care whether it's a guy or girl doing the freaking cooking. It is how it is. Um, and I mean, Reiko goes through like a bunch of like random stuff that I like kind of glossed over. But it's like, you know, freaking handsome guy, like ugly bastard. Can I say that? Uh, Sorry, YouTube. Can censor it. You know, uh, like random, like having it happen randomly, having it like, you know, if you've read or watched like the stuff, you would know a bunch of it, right? All the like, it's kind of crazy because like isekai, and not just isekai, but I'm saying isekai because it's like a very prominent genre currently. But isekai, action, like literally slice of life, blah 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 blah. You know, like every single genre, they all have their like within their like sub niches, and then like stereotypes, not the right word, trope. They all have their tropes, right? Um, and Netorare has its own tropes, right? And the guy is like, Reiko is like, what is the absolute best, right? And the guy and sorry, I keep saying, and Reiko is the entire time's like, I like so close to like falling for freaking like being Netora Netorared already, like before hitting their peak, hitting the peak that he would define, she defines as like would be the ultimate despair, essentially. Danganronpa mentioned. Sorry. Um, but um, I don't got much to say. It's definitely interesting. I'm looking at the rating right now. It's like 6.6, and I definitely can understand why it'd be rated that way. Like, I mean, I'm imagining if this is like, I don't know, like that's pretty much all I have to say on the manga, right? And now the rest of this is just gonna be like opinion piece. Um, so no need to stay for this as well. But my opinion is like, or is it opinion? My thought, whatever, um, is that man, there's a whole bunch I could talk about on anime and manga, uh, and I'm not sure if this is the proper place to talk about it. This video, I suppose, because then I'm gonna be like 50 years later, I'm gonna be like, what did I think back then? And then it's gonna be in I read T.S. Reincarnated Beauty, blah blah blah, and then I'm never gonna like look at the end of this video. So I guess I'll just only talk about the Netorare part, right? It is definitely not a lot of people's cup of tea. I wouldn't say it's my cup of tea, but I'd say I'm able to. I'm not sure what the word is, like separate myself from a story, when it needs to be done. Um, so like I can. I'm not sure the best way to describe this. Like if I were to read this when I was like way younger, way less experienced with anime and manga, I'd definitely probably like feel stressed and like stuff like that, if that makes sense. Um, Stressed and like anxiety. Uh, that's like the best way I can describe it. Um, but now that I've read like a bunch of stuff, it's freaking. I'm a boomer now. Um, it's like I don't know how to describe it. I mean, fine, right? But I definitely can understand that if you're like an average person reading this, it's like, bro, what the hell? What the hell is this chick on? What the hell is like anybody on? I mean, everybody else is a normal person in this manga, except for this guy. This guy is just. I'm interested to see how. Uh, oh, excuse me. I'm interested, interested to see how it plays out. Um, because it's not a genre that or well, this particular setting and story is not one that like I've read, where a guy is trying to plan out their freaking childhood friends like cucking essentially. Um, like if you've read enough, like I mean, if you I want to even say manga or anime, right? Like I think this applies to a lot of things in general. Um, Books, like movies, shows, anything. But if you've like read enough, watched enough, like things become a trope, um, and things become predictable, right? So all the like isekai animes where it's like, yeah, I mean it's just a power fantasy and stuff like that. You basically know what you're gonna get. Like the guy never loses, blah blah blah, right? Uh, Feels very low stake. Um, so this one, I'm interested in seeing how it goes because it's not a thing I've read, uh, and I'm kind of going the loop because I can't think of what else to say. But I think that's pretty much it. I talked about this a lot longer than I thought I would. 20 minutes? Sheesh. Mm, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I just realized uh, that I mentioned my friend's wedding and I'm talking about freaking like Netorare stuff or whatever. Completely unintentional. Uh, uh, yeah, completely unintentional. I think the wedding's gonna go well tomorrow, and I hope my friend a lot of happiness and all that stuff. Uh, Obviously, I'll tell them that tomorrow. But to the 0% who gets to this point, congratulations. Uh, yeah. Hopefully, I'm able to ramble less, be more succinct in my things in the future, videos in the future about like things I've watched, things I've read. Um, I know that I didn't do a look back one. I probably won't do it because I've kind of forgotten a lot about it already. My freaking boomer memory, but I liked it a lot, and I would recommend you watch it. But that's not what this is about, anyways. Um, but the thing is, I read a lot of manga every day. Like I pick up probably one or two manga like every day, uh, because a lot of the mangas I read are ongoing. Um, so it's like once I catch up, then I just read the next thing, and then I read weeklies and stuff like that. I'm not sure how I'll review weekly stuff, uh, but there is a lot of weeklies that I'm freaking reading right now. Um, Anime, I'm currently watching a lot of anime as well, like the seasonal ones. Uh, I'm not. How do people like review those? Like they finish watching it and then they review it. Honestly, it seems like people kind of. One thing that I don't like is, I mean, if anybody, I'm just gonna say it. Freaking, the people who like read leaks like in mangas and then formulate an opinion on a leak when it's like a couple pages, or uh, it's a summary of a leak, like, and then you formulate a summary or you formulate a thought on it. I'm like, bro, what are you guys doing? That's just consume the content and think for yourself, right? That's what you gotta do. You gotta consume it and you gotta think for yourself. Um, but I mean, that's pretty much it. 22 minutes long form videos. Freaking, if I were a TikToker, I'd be a horrible TikToker. Uh, yeah. Um, would I recommend this manga to 99% of the people I meet? Probably not. To the 1%, of people that I meet that are like that I know or whatever. I don't know if know is the correct word, but if I know, um, I'm not sure if I would recommend it still, um, because it is extremely niche, I'd say. Um, but it's interesting. I'll say that it's interesting, in my opinion. That's pretty much it. 12:51. Peace to you guys.